Hello, folks. It's Automotive Reviews. Today we have here a little-known story of the Ford Bronco designer named McKinley Thompson. Now, in recent weeks and years, a series of events have cast a new light on the presence of racism in the United States. But in reality, it's existed for far longer than that. And it wasn't all that long ago when black people were fighting things like segregation, not to mention the battle trying to break through color barriers at their various places of employment. And that makes the story of the late McKinley Thompson Jr., the first black auto designer at Ford, and the Bronco designer who drew the first sketches of the original off-road SUV, that's much more impressive. Now, this is just straight up awesome, folks. Now, until recently, Thompson's story was one that not too many people were familiar with. But once Ford began the process of designing the all-new 2021 Ford Bronco, it did a ton of research on the original model that eventually shed some light on his work. Now, we found out the very first design of the Bronco, and it was signed Ted Ryan, Ford's archivist and heritage brand manager, told the Detroit Free Press. We started Googling, and we were like, wait, this is McKinley Thompson. It was a discovery. He was not the designer of the Bronco, but he worked on the very first sketches. He was groundbreaking in his passion for design. He went on to work on the Mustang, Bronco, Ford trucks, and the T-Bird. Now, after serving with the Army Corps of Engineers in World War II, Thompson won a Motor Trend magazine-sponsored national design contest. In 1953, called from dream to drawing board. One of the prizes was a scholarship to the Art Center College of Design in Southern California. 3 years later, Ford hired Thompson, and after coming away impressed with his resume, Thompson went on to pen many important Ford designer. He penned many Ford designs over years before retiring from Ford Motor Company in 1984. Including the light-duty cab Ford truck, several concept sketches for the Ford Mustang, and even the Ford GT40. Just amazing, folks. Just look at that Bronco right there. Look at that Ford. Look at that. That's just awesome, folks. Now, the very first Bronco designer passed away in 2006, but his legend lives on. At least in the design world, as Thompson's work is currently studied in the classrooms of Georgetown University. And now, thanks to a little bit of research and renewed interest in the Ford Bronco, his name won't be lost to history, but rather celebrated for the important groundbreaking work Thompson was able to complete in his illustrious career, despite the many obstacles he faced. This is just quite awesome, folks. One of the designers of the Ford Bronco, McKinley Thompson. What a great legacy building the Ford Bronco. And that is just straight up awesome. Now, this story was brought to us by the Detroit Press. And so much going on in the world today, but it's great to hear some good news. And once Ford began the process of designing the all-new 2021 Ford Bronco, it did do a ton of research on the original model. And that sheds some light on what we see here. Now, Ted Ryan was a Ford archivist and heritage brand manager. Researched and found McKinley Thompson. There was a discovery. He was not the designer of the Bronco, but he worked on the very first sketches. He was groundbreaking in his passion for design, and he went on to work on the Mustang, Bronco, and Ford trucks, and the T-Bird. If you guys can remember the T-Bird was something else. I remember that. I remember my neighbor bought one, the Thunderbird, and that thing was nice. Now, he served in the Army Corps of Engineers in World War II, won a Motor Trend magazine-sponsored National Design Contest in 1953. From dream to drawing board to one of the prizes, a scholarship to the Art Center and the College of Design in Southern California. So it's just an awesome story, folks, about this and about, again, the 2021 Bronco, which is in the mix, folks. And what an awesome SUV this is. I mean, I love this color. It's just awesome. Just straight up awesome, folks. I mean, the panels, the roof, and being made of steel, and the mixture, everything about it to make it solid. When we get in this baby and you close those doors, I believe it's going to have that Mercedes G-Wagon type of feel. When it closes and opens, it's just solid, and everything's going to be just straight up mechanical. And be able to take off the doors and put them in the back and go out into the wild and just relax and just chill. This is what's going to make the Bronco just one of the best SUVs ever, folks. With a great designer, McKinley Thompson Jr., which is just straight up awesome, folks. One of the original designs. And remember, the Bronco goes all the way back to 1966 and was in production for 20 plus years. From then on to 1996 is when they stopped, and now it is back in effect. And just going back to the beginning, to his roots, and keeping that authentic look, keeping it real, and just making it a classic, folks. A classic, which is going to be in the garages and the driveways of many, many people in time to come. And this is going to be iconic. And right now they're saying that the Ford Bronco is not going to be in Europe, but I think it's going to be a worldwide truck eventually in the next 15 years. It's going to be everywhere. And I think it's going to be it's definitely going to be a benchmark, and it's definitely going to be it's going to be as popular as the Mercedes G-Wagon. I really believe that, but in a better way. More people can afford this. Not too many people can afford a G-Wagon, but this is going to be right there because it's iconic, it's retro, it goes back to its original design, from the headlights to the curvature of the hood, to the windshield, to the angle, to the mirrors and a cowl and an A-pillar, to the convertible top, to the doors coming off. I mean, everything about it is just stoic, folks. And it hits every whistle. It checks every mark. The design, the tires, the suspension system, the Haas system, the Bilston struts, everything about it is just awesome, folks. From the plates on the bottom to the rails to the everything about it, the clearance, the 11.6 inches, the breakaway. I mean, the water fording, I believe it's up to the water fording is like 33 inches or something like that. I could be wrong on that. If I am, just go ahead and write it in the comments. I'm just shooting from the top of my head. And this is just straight up banging, folks. And I just got to talk about this. And designer, Mr. McKinley Thompson Jr., I mean, dedicated to the Ford Bronco. I mean, one of the guys who did the first sketches of this beautiful SUV, which is just straight up awesome. Straight up awesome. Just people dedication to making, to sticking with their passion and making it on paper and working with a group of designers to design this iconic SUV that's taking the world by storm, folks. And going to eventually find its way in your garage and in my driveway. And it's just straight up awesome. Just straight up American muscle. and straight up American adventure. I mean, it's going to be a world adventure, not just American adventure, because this SUV is going to be everywhere, and it's iconic. Folks, you got to get one. This is A Automotive Reviews. Thanks for watching. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. And just remember the commitment. You know, this how this SUV goes back all the way back to 1966. And remember, Mr. McKinley Thompson Jr. and him being one of the people that, you know, did the sketches of this SUV. It was a part of the design team to make it what it is, and their love and passion is what's making everything Bronco, baby, and this straight awesome. A Automotive Reviews. Remember, like, share, and subscribe.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more interesting videos.